Hey guys, it's John from Album Review TV. It's time for a review of the highly anticipated new studio album by rapper Eminem. It's his 8th studio release, the Marshall Mathers LP 2. Not a sequel to the first one, he says. He actually stated that it would think of it more as a continuation of his thought process and just the vibes and the feelings he was having at that time. Not to expect sequel tracks or anything like that on the record, but just to take it for what it is and just a continuation of his thoughts here on this record. And he wanted to make sure that it lived up to, something that he could call and deem worthy of having this title, Marshall Mathers LP 2. First single, Berserk, announced at the Music Video Awards this year, the MTV Music Video Awards, and the initials for the album appeared on screen and everyone's freaking out because they knew what it was, the Marshall Mathers LP 2. I was excited, but then I heard Berserk and I just kind of got turned off to it, honestly. Berserk is a track that I am completely on the fence on still. That track initially really annoyed me, and while it still does irritate me, it has grown on me somewhat. It's just that it feels like Eminem, like I know a lot of people have said this, but it just feels like Eminem is doing his best impersonation of the Beastie Boys here. It doesn't feel creative. Rick Rubin played the guitar on this track, the legendary producer, and it just feels like a replica of something else. They tried to copy something else and not really make it his own. Eminem's style and flow, especially on the second verse, is just incredibly cheesy, cringeworthy, so I would say, and it's one of the worst tracks on the record. Why it was chosen as the lead single, I'll never understand. He does pay homage to a lot of different styles of music here on the Marshall Mathers LP 2. There's just a lot of tracks here that actually do throw back in a lot of better ways though. There's tracks like Love Game featuring Kendrick Lamar, and it samples that 1965 track Game of Love by Wayne Fontana and the Mindbenders. That's a throwback that works, and it works in a really cool way. It uses that sample there, and the track finds Eminem calling out a woman and just accusing them of fucking with Kanye, Drake, and all these other rappers, cheating on him basically. Kendrick Lamar comes in, delivers a very solid verse, and he shows himself worthy of appearing on a track with Eminem, and of course as one of the best up-and-coming rappers in the game right now. Then you've got more experimental tracks like So Far, which is a really strange tune. It's got some southern rock feels to it, Train-styled intro vocals. It just really sounds like Pat, the lead singer from Train there when Eminem is singing on that one. Things actually do come together quickly though and make a nice track overall. It feels pretty gritty and raw, with guitars and scratches filling in the mix nicely, and honestly it's one of my favorites on the Marshall Mathers LP 2. Pays homage to some of his older tracks and even samples the real Slim Shady, which I thought was pretty cool. Then you've got some of the weaker songs, like I already mentioned Berserk, Stronger Than I Was, that slow-paced ballad, Brainless, which once again I find to be pretty cheesy, not in a haha clever or else kind of laugh out loud funny way, but just kind of in a I want to hit the skip button on that one. Bad Guy is the opening track on this record, and it starts things off on a slower note, but at times it really does show off Eminem's incredible flow that he has, but mainly underwhelms in its first half. The song has some sharp lyrical moments, telling a story, and also shows that demented violent side that Shady hasn't shown us too much at all since his older albums like the Eminem Show. And that's kind of what made him famous, kind of shock value type thing, and he's kind of brought that back on some tracks here on this album, like Bad Guy and Rap God, another one. But here on this track, Bad Guy, once again, I find it to just be a little bit uninteresting in its first 5 minutes. The beat didn't really feel anything but generic to me. He steps things up after it hits that 5-minute mark. Really, things start getting a little bit more epic. The beat changes, and Eminem declares, "I'm talking a lot of shit, but I'm backing it all up," as the final minutes of this track really start to impress me. Survival is the second single that was released from the album. It actually appeared in the trailer for Call of Duty Ghosts, which I don't really get it. I don't like it when bands are really, just throwing songs like out there for like soundtrack releases and that sort of thing. And Survival has actually really grown on me from the first time I heard it though. It was released back in August initially, but it was released as a single in October. It makes really good use of the guitar for the backing beat, but I feel like it lacks overall. The chorus especially really reminds me of a mid to early 2000s alternative rock jam. So musically, yes, I do enjoy this track because I really enjoy that style of music. The track is definitely growing on me, like I said, and since the first time I heard it, I just had those mixed feelings. I was like, I only listened to it once or twice, but with repeated listens here, I feel like it's a very solid anthem type track, especially when the anger he's really feeling comes through to the listener. The track Rhyme or Reason has an interesting production style from Rick Rubin. Rick Rubin and Dr. Dre were executive producers here on this record, and this one almost sounds like something out of a secret agent movie. It sees Eminem taking on several different styles and egos throughout the track, including his best Yoda impersonation, which I'm still not quite sure how to feel about that one. It was a little bit strange, but Eminem definitely addresses some issues he has with his father, his estranged father that is, on the track, and does so in an open and honest way, and some of the things he's talking about there I really can relate to. Legacy is a track that gets a little bit more personal with that atmospheric production that he hasn't really showed off here at all on this album up until this point. He finally does, and it's something that mixes things up and gives the feeling of seeing Eminem kind of standing out into the rain, reflecting on the past as the piano really drives this song. So Much Better is one of my overall favorites here on the record, and it takes me back to an older side and style of Eminem that I've been missing for a very long time. We see Slim Shady unleashing some fury and anger on this track over a throwback styled beat as he addresses a woman that essentially fucked him over by lying, sleeping with other rappers, etc. Dementedly funny, twisted. It's a classic reminder of what Eminem is capable of. I definitely laughed at multiple spots on this track, especially when he announces, I got 99 problems but a bitch ain't one. She's all 99 of them, I need a machine gun. Then of course we have the radio-friendly pop jam, The Monster, featuring Rihanna, another collaboration between Eminem and Rihanna. Of course we all remember Love the Way You Lie back in 2010 off of Recovery, and this track once again doesn't do too much for me. Reminds me far too much of some of his past few albums in the sense that they're very pop rap styled, and it's something that I'm not really enjoying, but I think, it's going to be a hit at radio and that sort of thing. Then we get to the best song on this LP, which is called Rap God. Say what you will, but I can't be convinced otherwise that this is the best track. Big claim to make here that he's a rap god, but he certainly backs up this statement on this trap-influenced track that sees Eminem rapping faster than he has in years. There's points on this track that truly do amaze me. Shady spits 40 words, over 40 words actually, I believe, in a span of only 20 seconds, which is just absurd. And I know people are wondering, John, what do you think about Eminem saying offensive things like gay-looking boy, faggot, and talking about beating women here on this track? Well, I think we should all know what to expect from Eminem. If you're listening to him, in the past, that's what a lot of people loved him for that. Whether he's politically correct or not, he's still always going to speak his mind, I feel like, and it definitely comes out more so on this track than he has in a long time. He's really being him, and I guess you can either love that or hate that. You liked him when he was offensive and violent, and you wanted that back, didn't you? Although he might push the line a little bit when he's talking about, beating women and the whole cake thing, it's nothing that shocks me or stuns me. Marshall Mathers shows off big time on this track and spits some of his best rhymes and fastest flows in albums. Why be a king when you can be a god? Asshole sees a fast-paced delivery from the Detroit rapper, flying off the handle at times almost, and really just stating that he's okay with the general public's opinion of him. He knows that to many people he comes off seeming like an asshole. At times he even comments on the state of things in our world and our country today, referencing those Colorado shootings at a movie theater when he says you need a bulletproof vest on your chest just to go and watch Batman. Evil Twin closed out the record, and I didn't really dig that track at all, but the one before that, Headlights featuring Nate from Fun, was one I was really nervous about hearing, but it paid off in the long run. Nate is from the band Fun, a band that I really, really like. And Eminem is one of my favorite rappers, but I did not know how well their two styles would mesh together here on this track. But Eminem really did nail it here on this track. The production fit the song, and although it wasn't really that entertaining musically for me, it was something that I thought was really cool because he was so honest on the track. He addressed how things went south with his mother, regretting making the tracks where he pretty much declares "fuck you" to his mom, cringing when he hears those songs played on the radio, and just in the end forgiving her and understanding. Like I said, it might not be the most interesting musically, but it brings a very powerful message to the table. Overall, I think Eminem really did a good job here. He's definitely made his best album that he has in a long time, and I think I kind of saw it coming because he had really picked up his style again with the whole Bad Meets Evil reunions. 4 out of 5 from me. What did you guys think? Let me know in the comment section down below, and of course, let me know what I should review next. Thanks for watching, guys. Make sure you check out all the links in the description down below. My vlog channel where I post, weekly videos with what's going on in my life and that sort of thing. Twitter, Facebook, everything you can connect with me on is in the links down below. Thanks for watching, guys. Right here, Album Review TV, your home for music news and reviews.